Hello, hello, hello. I am so happy to have you here. As you know, this channel is all about health, wellness, and personal development. My name is Madeline Hewitt. If you are new here, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. So as you can see, I have taken my microphone off of the back of my camera and I have put it out in front of me because I am so happy to announce that my podcast, Do the Work with Madeline Hewitt, is officially live anywhere you get your podcast. I am so excited for this because I know as a consumer of content, there are times where I like to watch YouTube videos and there are times where I like to listen to podcasts, but I like to get the same kind of content across both platforms. So I really wanted to make sure that I was able to reach everyone, however you choose to consume your content. So I am so excited. Please be sure to find me on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it may be that you listen to your podcast. Do the Work with Madeline Hewitt. A lot of the episodes are going to be the same content that's on my YouTube channel, and then I am going to have some content that is exclusive to YouTube and some that is exclusive to the podcast. So let me know what you think of the pod whenever you listen to it. I love to hear from you guys, and let's dive into today's episode. So this episode is going to be all about becoming aware of your own thoughts. And I don't think I had really paid much attention to this or given it much deep dive introspection until I did my 2023 goals video. And today we're going to talk a lot about negative self-talk and limiting beliefs and how it's just keeping you from living your best life, following your dreams, doing what you're passionate about, whatever it may be. I don't know about y'all guys, but I talk to myself all day long. There is this little voice inside of my head that is speaking all day, every day, just constantly. Every thought that I have, every original thought that I have, I feel like that little voice has its own little original thought. And if you're anything like me, that voice has a tendency to go really negative really quick. And I don't think that, I always knew that I participated in negative self-talk. I don't know that I had ever put a label on it and been like, I participated in negative self-talk today. No, I don't think I had ever thought about it like that, but I was very aware that my thoughts were not always super positive about myself and about things going on in my life. And when I did this 2023 goals video, if you watch the video, you know that I talk about how I had multiple drafts of my goals until I finally got to a list where I was comfortable with it, and then I was like, yes, this is one that I'm happy about and that gets me excited. And a huge part of that was that I would write down a goal, or I would even think of a goal that I wanted to accomplish, and it's immediately my little voice would start burning and churning in my head of, you can't do this, you're not good enough to do that, why do you want to do that, people are going to think you look stupid, all of those things. And what would end up on paper is a smaller version of the goal that I originally had in my head. So doing this YouTube channel and forming it into a podcast and creating this community that I want to build. Now I have come to terms with the big goal that I want to accomplish this year, building out the framework of my brand, continuing to do these YouTube videos, taking it very seriously, getting active on all different platforms, creating my podcast, all of these things. But when I first thought about this goal for this year, I was like, you can't do that. You have no idea what you're doing filming these videos. You're not as good of an editor as everyone else. People are going to think that people are not going to understand what you're wanting to do, and people are going to think that it's dumb and all of those things. And so what I originally wrote on my goals list was, I want to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's it. That's all I said. That's all about my brand that I had originally said that I wanted to do. And then I was like, what am I doing? Hold on. What is happening? And then I started thinking about my career. And I was like, when I originally wrote on my goal sheet, I was like, I want to sell X amount of dollars in real estate. And I knew I didn't like real estate. I knew that it's not what I wanted to do. I knew that deep down I had a bigger picture in my head. But the little voice inside of my head was telling me, You don't have the experience to do that. No one's going to hire you because of your background. You don't look good on paper. No one's going to give you an interview. No one's going to understand what you're trying to do. You can't do what you're trying to do. You need to just stick to real estate, and you need to just stick it out and suck it up and do that because you've committed to it at this point. That is what I kept telling myself. And y'all, it was a real eye-opening experience for me, because I was sitting there and I was like, this is wild. I actually think that a huge reason why I've ended up in the position that I ended up in such an unhappy, unfulfilling position, is because this little voice inside of my head was making me feel this big. It was making me feel so small and making me feel like I wasn't worthy or capable of what I am worthy and capable of doing. And it's one of those things where I don't think my brain is out to get me. I really don't. I think that it's trying to keep me safe. I think that my brain doesn't want me to struggle in life. It doesn't want me to get my feelings hurt. It doesn't want me to, fail at things. It wants to keep me safe, but safe is a really unfulfilling place to be a lot of times. You're not challenging yourself. You're not stepping outside of your comfort zone. You're doing what you know, and you're staying inside of your lane. You're drawing and coloring within the lines. And I had been doing that for so long. I had been on that autopilot motion for so long, just doing what other people told me was the best option to do, doing what felt safe, not really challenging myself or stepping outside of my comfort zone, just going with the status quo. And it was really, really eye-opening, because I think it was the first time that I realized that it was no one's fault but my own, that I had gotten into this position, and I had allowed that to happen to my own life because I allowed myself to talk to myself like that. And it was one of those aha moments of, you need to fix this. If you keep talking to yourself and you keep bringing yourself down the way that you are, you're going to stay inside of this little tiny box. You're never going to jump outside of the box. You're never going to see what else is out there in life and what you're actually capable of and get uncomfortable and grow. You're never going to do that if you keep listening to this negative voice inside of your head telling you that you're this small and that you're only worthy and capable of this much. So I was on a mission to change that this year, and a huge part of it started with me deep diving into a manifestation. So I heard an incredible podcast on manifestation with Roxy Nafusi, and I went and bought her book, which I highly recommend. It's an easy read, and a huge part of manifestation is eliminating these limiting beliefs that you've created about yourself and becoming aware of your own thoughts and your own mind, and being able to have control over your thoughts and over your mind. So I want to share with you kind of how I went about becoming really aware of my limiting beliefs and my negative self-talk, and then gaining some control over my thoughts and starting to flip the narrative, right? So what I did was I had those 5 goals that I talked about in my 2023 goals video. I had 5 goals, and I wrote each of them down. And then for each goal, I had 2 columns, okay? So goal number 1, 2 columns. Goal number 2, 2 columns. On one side, I started to rattle off every single limiting belief that I had surrounding that goal, all right? And then on the other side, I wrote opposite affirmations that go with that limiting belief. So let me read off some of them for you so this makes sense. So for my goal of moving to a new city, a limiting belief was, people will think I am just following in the footsteps of all of my friends that are leaving. The affirmation that I wrote on the other side was, I was inspired by the move being made by my friends, and it gave me courage to do it myself. My goal of getting a job in the wellness industry, my limiting belief was, no one will give me an interview because I don't have anything corporate on my resume. The affirmation that I wrote on the other side was, the right company will appreciate my diverse background, see my value as a person, and want to add my thought process to their team. God, amazing. Running a marathon. My limiting belief, I'm not a runner. My affirmation that I wrote on the other side was, I am a runner because each day I get up and I train to be a runner. My goal of taking YouTube seriously, all right? So my limiting belief, let's talk about, there are already 1 million really successful coaches, authors, and speakers on wellness. The affirmation that I wrote on the other side was, there is enough room for everyone to be successful. No one is me, and that is my niche in the space. Ooh, that's a good one. My limiting belief, what if my brand flops and no one ever latches on to what I'm trying to show them? Affirmation, what if doing the work turns you into the best version of yourself, regardless of what it does publicly? Crazy. Sober 2023, not drinking all year. Limiting belief, people will think I am boring and stop inviting me to things. Affirmation, people will learn to love new things about me on a deeper level than being just the fun party girl. Do you guys hear how I took that negative self-talk that I had in my head and I just flipped it and did the opposite and turned it into an affirmation? That was one or two examples of my limiting beliefs and turned affirmations for each of my goals, right? But my list of these, it started out with just like 3 or 4 limiting beliefs per goal. And y'all, they've grown to like 10, 12, 15 per goal, because I'll be sitting there sometimes and I'll think about what I want to do. And I hear that little voice. I hear it popping up. And I'm like, oh, that's a new one. Where did that come from? Like, why am I thinking that way? Like, I've already started to tackle these negative limiting beliefs, and like, why are there new ones popping up? So what I did was, in my bathroom mirror, actually, I took Expo marker and I started writing down a couple of these affirmations. And right now, what's on my mirror is, I am worthy and capable of landing my dream job. I am creative. My voice and ideas have room in the world. Simple. But you know what I do is every single morning as I'm doing my morning skincare routine, I stare at myself in the mirror like I'm talking to myself, look myself in the eyes, and I repeat these affirmations every single morning. And I change these affirmations out whenever I feel like I'm starting to really get a rein on that belief that I have, and I stop hearing that little voice pop up in my head telling me the negative limiting belief that goes with that affirmation, right? Some of them stay up for a week. Some of them stay up for a month. Those have been up there for 3 weeks now because, one, I just think that they're all encompassing to a lot of things that I'm dealing with right now. But two, I feel like I still, every now and again, will hear that little voice pop up and tell me, you're never going to get this. You're not creative enough to stand up with these content creators. There's already so many people that are doing what you're trying to do. I still hear those little tiny voices. And once I've been saying those affirmations over and over and over and over, repetition in my head, I'll catch myself, it'll pop up, and I will subconsciously go, no, I am creative. I am worthy. I am 100% capable of landing this job that I want. Like, stop, Maddie. Stop talking to yourself like that. Some of the limiting beliefs that I have are pretty simple to get over. Some of them I just need a reminder. Some of them are not imprinted super, super deep into my personality. And others, I need a whole come to Jesus moment to get over them. Like, some of them have been really, really difficult with me. And I think that it's because I have been telling myself these things for so many years, day in, day out. Like, the repetition that I have had in my head of some of these thoughts, I'm on rep like 10,000, 20,000, right? So it's going to take me some serious time to retrain and rewire my brain to get over some of these thoughts. So don't beat yourself up. If some of these limiting beliefs only take you, a week or two to really start to like see a change in, and then some of them may take you a month, 2 months, 3 months of like proactive trying and effort to make that change. Do you guys feel the energetic shift in those two thought processes? Do you feel how a simple mindset change can affect your entire outlook on a topic? Do you hear how the words that you use when you talk to yourself affect you on a deep level? Think about it this way. Would you speak to someone you love the way that you speak to yourself? I mean, like, being 100% honest, if your mom or your sister or your best friend came up to you and said, I want to do a complete career shift and I want to get into the wellness industry and I want to start a YouTube channel and I want to build a following and I want to build a community and I want to run a marathon this year and I want to change cities. Like, if they came to you and told you that they had goals like that, would you look at them and say, Good luck with that. You're not a runner. You have no idea how to make friends as an adult. People are going to think it's stupid what you're trying to do. Everyone's going to laugh at you. No one's going to understand what you're doing. It's going to be embarrassing. If nothing takes off, you're going to fail. You're not worthy of landing that job. You don't have the experience that you need to land that job. Like, oh my God. Would you ever say that to someone that you love? No, none of us would. That's so mean. And yet that's exactly how we talk to ourselves. It's actually mind-blowing because why do we do that? Why do we do that to ourselves? It's mean. Why are we so mean to ourselves? But it's how we're wired. And I think a lot of it has to do with conditioning. And then I think a lot of it just has to do with our environment and things that we've seen as we've grown up and how other people talk to themselves or how other people move. And it starts from a very young age. And then we get to this point in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, where we realize that we need to make a change. And now we have all of these years to unravel and go back through and correct. And it's a process. It's a never-ending process as well. You will never not have fear and doubt around things in your life. You will never, ever be completely over that little voice inside of your head that says, but what if? I don't know, man. I don't know if this is the best idea. I don't really know if you're totally capable of what you think you're capable of. We'll never be over that. That will always be a part of our lives. It will always be just a part of human nature. But the point of all of this is in order to make a change in this department, in order to minimize that little voice inside of your head and be able to shut it down and flip the script, first step is you have to be aware of your own thoughts. You have to be aware of how you talk to yourself. And then you have to make active, proactive effort to flip the script and change the way that you speak to yourself. And it is going to be so uncomfortable at first. It was uncomfortable for me to even stand in the mirror and say affirmations to myself. Let's do a little exercise, okay? I challenge you to go look in the mirror, all right? Go look at the mirror, stare yourself in the eyes, and I challenge you to say, I am beautiful. I am kind. I am perfect just the way I am. People love me. I love me. How does that feel? Really take a moment to think about how that felt when you were saying those things to yourself. Now I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and I want you to say, I look awful today. God, I really need to work on my body. My hair looks terrible. Why does my skin look like that? This is just not my day. How did that feel? So a lot of people will say that the first was really uncomfortable, that it felt awkward, that it was weird. Like, why am I saying these things to myself in the mirror? And then a lot of people will say that the second was a lot easier. It felt like normal. It felt a little more comfortable. It didn't feel as weird. So why is it so much easier and comfortable for us to be so hard on ourselves? Like, why is that the default? And why does that make us feel more normal? Okay, exercise number 2. Ask yourself this. How much money do you wish to make this year? Okay, think about it. How much money do you wish to make this year? Think of that number. What was it? 100K? 200K? 1 million? Why not 500,000? Why not 5 million? This one is really hard for me because I am the queen of being realistic when it comes to setting my goals or thinking about what I want, right? And I think that I am so bad about this because I am so scared of failure that I like to keep my goals and my dreams inside of this realistic box, because if I don't go outside of the realistic box, then there's less of a chance that I'm going to fail. And that's part of the reason that it took me so many drafts to get my goals done, because I kept writing realistic versions of my goals. But when you think about people that have achieved incredible things in their lives, right? When you think about people that are really inspiring and that you're just like, how did they accomplish that much in this amount of time? It's because their goals were not wrapped up in this little tiny realistic box. Because when you keep yourself tied up in this realistic box, you never have the chance of doing extraordinary things. You only have the chance to do ordinary things because you've never allowed yourself to think that extraordinary things are possible and that you are worthy of accomplishing extraordinary things. We have to remember that the energy that we put into the universe is the energy that we are going to receive from it. So if you are letting these negative thoughts and these negative feelings about yourself control your life, then that is exactly what the universe is going to bring back to you. If you want the universe to bring you opportunities and open doors for you, then you have to have the mindset and belief in yourself that you are worthy, capable, and willing to accept those opportunities and walk through those open doors. An important thing to remember also, and when I first heard this, I was like, mind blown, because it's so simple and like, duh, no matter what, you are manifesting in your life based on the thoughts that you have, positive or negative, no matter what. You don't just start manifesting when you think positive thoughts. You are manifesting at all times, positive or negative. If you have negative self-talk and limiting beliefs around something that you want to achieve or that you want to try, then you are going to be manifesting and bringing things into your life that align with those thoughts and beliefs. If you have positive self-talk and think that you are worthy and capable of achieving or doing whatever it is that you want to do, then you are going to manifest and bring energy into your life that aligns with that positive self-talk and those thoughts and beliefs. So if you're manifesting no matter what all the time, why not learn to manifest in a positive manner? If you're going to be bringing things into your life either way, why are we allowing ourselves to just continue bringing in these negative energy, this negative vibe? Why not choose to shift your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about yourself so that you're manifesting in a positive way? Shifting your thoughts is an intentional practice. It doesn't just happen by writing down your limiting beliefs and then writing down some nice affirmations on a mirror and saying them to yourself every single morning. I wish it was that easy. It'd be sick if it was that easy. I think that a lot more people would have a healthier mindset if things were that easy. But the reality of it is that it is a very active and proactive practice to shift your mindset and change the way that you think about yourself. One, you have to be constantly, consistently aware of what is going on inside of your head. You have to know when those thoughts are creeping up and when they're starting to deter you from wanting to do things or wanting to try things. You have to be aware of what's going on inside of your head. And then you have to make the active choice to change the thoughts that you're allowing yourself to think. When you hear yourself starting to go negative in your head and saying, you can't do this, you immediately say, I can do this. I am capable of this. I am worthy of this. I am the person that is right for X, Y, and Z. You have to be aware of when it's happening and make that fast and quick change to correct it. And it is a practice. It's really uncomfortable at first. It's really awkward at first. You're not going to think you're very good at it at first. And when I first started doing it, it took me, I would say, 2 months to really start to feel like I was recognizing when it was happening and really feel like I wasn't starting to let myself spiral. It will feel really awkward at first when you start to do it. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel disruptive. But I promise after a couple of weeks, it will start to feel a lot more natural. And it's like your brain will automatically start to default to these positive thoughts and this positive self-talk. And when you realize that that's starting to happen, when you can start to see the fruit of your labor, you're like, hold on. I think this is working and I think I really like it. Starting to do this intentional thought process is literally what got me to right here with you today. I had been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, starting a podcast, getting active on my socials, building a community. I had been thinking about this for 2 years. 2 years, I had just been writing down my thoughts and ideas and wishes and dreams into my little notebook and doing absolutely nothing about them. And I was doing nothing about them because the little voice inside of my head was telling me, you can't do this. People are going to think this is stupid. People are going to laugh at you. What if you fail? What if you never take off? What if you're not good at it? All of these things were going on inside of my head, and I was letting this little tiny voice just beat me up and pummel me down to nothing and scare me into doing nothing, constantly telling me all of the reasons why I couldn't, why I wouldn't, why I shouldn't. and I listened. It was genuinely like a tiny prison inside of my head because I knew what I wanted so badly. I knew that this is something that I wanted to do so badly, and I just wanted to try, and I wanted to try and be really good at it. And it felt like a prison because I just wanted to break free and I just wanted to try it, but I was so scared. The fear and the doubt was so big and so loud that it spiraled me into a position where I felt paralyzed in my life, where I was just like, I don't even know where to put my next step at. Like, I don't even know what the next step is for me to take anymore. I am so lost in what I am trying to do right now. And then I read a book on manifestation and how everything we do and everything we think affects the energy and the vibe that we put out into the world. And I knew that if I wanted to change my energy and change my vibe and open up my life to be able to accept more positive and aligned things, then I was going to have to start with my own head first. I was going to have to master my own thoughts. I had to first become really, really, really aware of just how badly I was speaking to myself. And it's not a fun thing to come to those realizations and do that inner work. It's not fun. It's really sad, actually. It's really sad when you sit there and you're like, oh my God, I am so mean to myself. What? It's not a fun realization to have, but you have to have it in order to start to fix the problem. So I first had to become aware of my thoughts, and then I had to start correcting them. Y'all, and I genuinely started to feel more confident and alive in my own skin just from doing this. This is just the tip of the iceberg of the inner work that everyone needs to do on themselves. Everyone has different work that they need to do, and this is something that I think everyone can work on and that I think affects everyone, whether you think it does or not. It does. And so this is just the tip of the iceberg. But I did start to feel so much more confident and so much more comfortable in my own skin. Because if I can't support myself and I can't be kind to myself and I can't want myself to win, then why the hell should anyone else? So then I started experimenting with my phone, and I started creating a couple videos, and then I started posting them, and then I started doing little shorts, and then I started getting a little active on social media, and then I started telling people in my life what I was doing, and now I'm like pretty damn vocal about what I'm trying to do. It was a slow progression to get me here, but I would not have gotten here had I not started with correcting the way that I speak to myself. Because there's no way that you gain self-confidence and self-respect and build self-love when you talk to yourself like you're the gum on the bottom of your shoe. It's literally impossible to get to that point if you don't fix this first. And I am not going to lie and say that, oh, it's so easy now, I'm comfortable, like it's no big deal, I fixed it. No. I get a pit in my stomach every single time that I go to post a new video or tell someone that I'm trying something new, or God, posting about it on my socials makes my stomach churn, because that's where all of the people's whose opinions that I care about so much, that's where all of them are. And they're going to see the work that I'm doing. And what if they don't like it? And what if they think that this is silly? And what if, oh my God, what if I'm embarrassing myself? I still have those thoughts. Those thoughts still go in through my head. But the difference is that I'm aware of them, and that when they start to enter into my head, I correct them with one of my affirmations immediately. I say, you are creative. Your voice and ideas have room in the world. I will say one of those, and it's like immediately I'm like, no, okay, click post. Hit send, do this, do that, take the leap, rip off the Band-Aid, Maddie. You are able to do whatever you want to do. And if I had not learned how to shift my mindset in this way, I think that I would still be stuck watching YouTube videos of how other people started making YouTube videos. I don't think I would have ever done it. I think I would literally just be sitting on my couch, still really, really sad and really, really lost, and having no idea how to get to where I want to be in life. I feel so strongly about the fact that this is step number one. This is step number 1 to changing your life, following your dreams, and living the best life that you can. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. As always, I'm so happy that you have chosen to follow me on my journey through health, wellness, and personal development. This topic today was super close to my heart, and I am super passionate about it on such a personal level, and I am so happy that I got to share it with you all. So thank you so much for being here. As always, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. I love connecting with you guys in the comments, so leave me a comment below, and I will see you back next week.